Last week, I flew out my entire remote team, all 7 of us, and we had an amazing in-person event here in Huntington Beach. I put them up in a super nice hotel, and we got to spend time together working on the business. We had some meetings, we ate and drank together. We had high quality time together as a team. I had no idea the effect that meeting in person was going to cause for my business and my growth, and it was a critical lesson in scaling that I'm excited to share with you here today. So I've got a massive list of things that I learned. I'm gonna just run through them, and I want you to understand it from where does this apply to me now and where is this applying to me as I grow? Because if you only learn lessons from the exact point in time you are now, you're gonna miss the big picture vision of what you're scaling to. So here's the lessons that I learned. 1, after meeting in person with my team, leadership feels much more tangible and doable. And I know a lot of new entrepreneurs who aren't leaders yet have the same fear, which is leadership is manipulation, or leadership is control, or leadership is being a boss. I learned, maybe for the first time ever, that leadership is just stepping back and allowing your members to step forward and be the best versions of themselves. And when you think about being a leader that way, who doesn't want to be a leader? But if you think about leadership as like manipulating a situation to get the outcome that you want, which is a myth that I believed, I didn't want to be a leader. I was afraid to be a leader. I thought it was people are headaches and it's nightmares and it's disaster and it's HR and I just didn't want any of it. And that I've learned is not what leadership is at all. Leadership is taking a backseat and serving to allow other people to step forward and be the best versions of themselves. And that feels great. I want to be that kind of leader. So I had a totally different idea of leadership after this meeting. Second thing, just in general, as a little side note, in-person events feel so much more doable. I will give you a pro tip, and Johnny can attest to this. You should test your equipment out. This is my fault, not Johnny's. You should test your equipment out way before an hour. We had several presentations prepared for the day of, and we couldn't get the projector to work, and then we couldn't get my actual TV. We walked my TV to the event. I shit you not. And we couldn't get that to work. So then we ended up presenting on my iMac. So big flop there, but a lesson learned, right? Test your equipment out way before 10 minutes before the event starts, duh. And then just in general, I have a ton more confidence in in-person stuff. And when you run an online business, meeting in person can feel really scary, but it's just not that scary at all. And I'm gonna be doing more in-person events. So let me know in the comments below, if I were to host an in-person event in like Huntington Beach or Newport Beach in California, would you come to it? Let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to get like a general head count of who's interested. The third thing that I learned is that my team has quite a finger on the pulse of what my business needs, and I don't have to come up with all the ideas. For whatever reason, my ego thought that I was the savior of the business, and I was the one that was gonna come up with all the ideas, and I was in charge of the growth, and everybody else was just gonna do what they were told to do. Well, that's some shitty leadership. And we had a lot of meetings. We talked about the needs of the business, the needs of our customers, and my team has fabulous ideas for growth. Way better ideas than I could ever have. And what a lesson I needed to learn. Because if I think I'm the only one that's come up with all the ideas, A, that puts a ton of pressure on me to grow the company by myself, and B, we can all see how unconstructive that is. So I don't have to have all the business ideas, and I think that's amazing. Fourth thing that I learned, and Rose said the same thing. I asked her for her opinion on all this, and she said the exact same thing, which is training is so much easier in person versus remote. We had a total of 4 hours of presentations, and we learned more in those 4 hours than we have in all the Zoom meetings we've ever had.
So what that means is like, we created the everything done for you to be specifically for people that have bought into 24 for 24 instead of.
And I genuinely think the team was more caught up to speed on the business details and just like back-end operation stuff and just all that stuff going on in the background in those 4 hours than they've ever been with our regular Zoom meetings for years. I'll tell you what, I do get why some companies prefer fully in-person teams versus remote teams. Team Maria is gonna be a remote team for the conceivable future, but I get why if people like in-person companies, it's so much more efficient, especially if you like the people you're working with. Oh my gosh, I get it now.
Honestly, today and yesterday did the company more justice than all of the Zoom meetings we did together.
Yes.
You know, I think we got more done. It was more productive.
Yes.
Everyone was more and that's it. The powerful thing about
the next thing that I learned, and this is just more of a brag than anything else, it's my final brag, is that my business model, freaking amazing. I love it. The entire team was not working on the business at all. And we enrolled something like 274 customers during this time period, all while we ate great food, drank great drinks, and spent quality time together. Now, obviously, there was some catch-up work that we had to do when we got back to it all. That's pretty obvious. But overall, can we talk about the fact that my company basically grinded to a halt with everybody in a little conference room, hanging out, talking, learning, and we were still making money. We were still closing sales. We were still enrolling customers. We were still servicing the customers that we did have because my business model is so damn scalable and so damn flexible. Rose, who's my right hand, I wanted to get her take on this and what she thought about in-person events. And what she said was this. She said, this event helped me realize how we're not just each working in our own departments. We're not just working by ourselves. It's so important for the marketing people to inform the rest of the team what's going on with promotions or new products, etc., because it really does trickle down into every area of the business. And I think that's so true. We've had times where like Rose and I will get in our heads, we're gonna run a sale, we're running a launch, and then we don't communicate that very well. And so then the rest of the team is left kind of like scrambling and picking up the pieces of our marketing campaigns. And so she's spot on. We really got, because we were all in a room together, we really got to understand fully what each person did and how it all ties in together. And I think that's just so important. So overall, I feel like the big thing for me was I walked away with a lot more confidence in my leadership skills. And as I take my company from, 2.5 million to 10 million, right? That next big jump, it's gonna be about the people. It's gonna be about the team. It's gonna be about my skills as a leader. And I felt very lacking in my leadership skills and I didn't know how to fix that. But what I've really learned by this in-person event is that leadership skills are like any other business skill I've had to learn. You just get better with time. You just literally read a book about it. You watch a course on it. You just learn how to be a better leader. And over time, you improve. Like any other skill that's required to run a business. We aren't born knowing how to sell things. We aren't born knowing how to market things. We're also not born knowing how to lead people for the most part. And it's a skill we have to acquire. So if I were to host an in-person event in Southern California, would you come? If you're interested and would actually come, don't comment if you wouldn't actually come, but if you could come, would you? Comment down below and let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.